Hello and welcome to the CRUBCAST, your weekly dose of controlled chaos, where every week it gets worse. I'm Chris Meekness Van. With me is Trav Guy, Nicco All Hail Buckets. I want both of you to say hi now. I didn't give you time. Trav.
Hi.
Incredible. Nicco.
Gamers.
And Moriarty. What are we talking about, Moriarty? I need you to explain to me like I'm 5.
We're going to talk about game economies and how they can push players away. I think we've got a really interesting concept here, and we saw a conversation happening in the Crub Discord, which led to this, and I thought, wow, that's something that I'd really like to talk about, which is when resource management systems in games create unintended consequences for player behavior. One of the examples that was brought up specifically in this was Zelda. For example, in Tears of the Kingdom, you might get a weapon and look at it and go, wow, this weapon is so cool, I can never use it. Creating this sort of risk-averse players and inadvertently discouraging players from engaging with the core gameplay loop.
I did hear about the weapon.
So I will let some other people pass it on, unlike Nicco, who has nothing to say about this, but I will pass it to Nicco.
I just wish Nicco had something to say about this, honestly.
I heard about the weapon durability in that game, and I had some. It sounded suspicious to me. I've never played, but it sounded suspicious.
Was it tripping the Nicco alarm where you're like, I don't know about this one, guy? This Zelda shit.
It really was. It really was tripping the Nicco alarm of, I don't know about this mechanic.
I assume anyone listening to this knows, but I guess if you don't, in Zelda, your weapons break after enough use, right? It just falls apart in your hands after a certain amount of time. If you don't know, now you do. So if you get a really good weapon, you'll be like, oh man, this is better than anything I've used till now, but also I need to squirrel it away for a boss fight and then never actually use it. Maybe. I think it does lead to that kind of behavior from some players. I think there are some who just won't care and will just go for it. And I can tell you from experience, I am not that kind of person. It's the same with like items in a JRPG. I'll get a really good item that's like, oh,
I need to keep every potion. What if I need it?
This survives your entire party. And I'm like, well, what about the boss fight later in the game? And then I get to that boss fight later in the game and it's like, oh, this is fine.
And I still don't use the items.
The
only time that I use consumables in a game is on my 3rd or 4th playthrough.
Once you've realized how little you need them.
Yeah,
you don't need to hoard these things. We'll save the special weapon. One of the examples that was brought up, and I thought this was I've experienced this so many times, is running past an enemy when you know that enemy doesn't matter to you anymore, because they're going to pop up again, or they're not going to give you enough, or it's just a time waste and I just need to get past you. So I'm going to run past you and not even engage. And at that point, you're not engaging with the game anymore. And when you take that into Zelda, where you're saying, I would rather not waste my weapon on you, you have created with the weapon durability system specifically a incentive not to play the game.
Aligned.
Oh,
no, he's right.
Let's hear from you, Trav. It seems like you have some thoughts.
I think in the case of Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, God, I can't believe I said that.
I can.
I think you're wrong. Well, in that regard, I think that there's a near endless amount of options in the moment in combat. There are ways to even disarm enemies and take their weapons, or you have to run away. There's not a lot of cases in Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom where you're going to be running past an enemy, because past an enemy implies that there is an objective behind that enemy, and that's not really a thing in those games. In other games, though, I can kind of see where you're coming from. I could see that happening 100% in, say, a Fallout 3, which has a very similar, well, not very similar, but a weapon durability system where your weapons will break. Yes, Nicco, I see your hand up. You in the back, what's up?
What if there's no objective behind the enemy, but you simply want to go there?
I would say that's an objective. Yeah, I think that's something that Trav has mistakenly forgotten about.
Yeah,
sometimes we just want to go to that thing, and there's a bunch of people in the way.
I can think of plenty of times in Tears of the Kingdom.
See, but like Tears...
Oh, where I was running around and it'd be the big stone things with the fortresses or whatever on their back, and I'd be like, I'm just trying to get.
Okay, I see where you guys are coming from. Let me rethink this a little bit. Let me question my own moral beliefs as I convert into utilitarianism.
Yeah, let's beat your opinion out of you so you have ours, please.
Okay, I like that. No, I think in the case of Tears of the Kingdom, that's what I'm keeping this example to. I think that doesn't matter as much because these are large open worlds. You're gonna encounter something like there is a Talos right outside of when you get into Hyrule at the beginning of Breath of the Wild, and a lot of players are going to be directed to that, and they're going to quickly see that they're going to get their booty beaten by this big rock monster, and they're going to think, all right, I'm avoiding that thing, and they're just going to find a different way around it because the game has systems for stealth, for going other ways to redeem resources, and in cases of the shrines and etc. This is just turning me into defending Zelda. Hold on, I lost the plot. What's up?
Hi, my name is Devil's Advocate. Shouldn't I want to use the game system of combat? Shouldn't I want to engage with it more?
What's keeping you from engaging with it in this regard?
My weapon breaks.
Big enemy, weapon break.
Big enemy.
So go get a new weapon.
Big rock boy. You mentioned Fallout 3, if we want to get away from Zelda for a second. Elder Scrolls is a great example where I will go into, say, in Oblivion, maybe a timely game.
That's where I was trying to get to, yeah.
And I'll go, oh, it's Oblivion. I remember Oblivion. Let me smack my sword around. That's kind of fun. And then every enemy I loot, I'm like, okay, this is rat pelt. This is lockpick. This is gravel piece. And it's usually not worth it to loot most basic enemies running around, the low level ones. And I'm like, well, why would I bother? I'll just keep running. I'll listen to the encounter music for like 3 miles. XP.
Yeah,
Not a lot.
No.
You're leveling up your own. You punch. You don't have a weapon equipped. You get.
Hi, my name's Devil's Advocate.
You get the punch. You unarmed skill. You punch the rat. Hold down left click, and your guy goes, Rah! And then you kill the rat. And it says in the corner, hand to hand, raised to 2. You're killing the rat. You're still playing within the systems, and even then, going around it, you hold down control or press control, get the little eyeball to go, and then you're leveling up your sneak, dude.
I think you like Elder Scrolls.
I never played Oblivion until the remaster, and I'm really liking it.
Okay.
You're playing around with the systems, man.
Dude, but one thing I've been doing with the Oblivion, and that this is important to the topic at hand, and even if it isn't, I don't really care. I'm going to say it anyway. One thing I've been doing a lot with Oblivion is, rather than doing what I used to usually do, which is what Nicco and Moriarty, am I pointing the right way? Doesn't matter. We're saying is I've just gotten into the habit of like, screw it. Unless I know that this is gonna like overkill an enemy, I'll just use the strongest thing I have. Dwarven arrows on like a little goblin freak. Sure, insta kill it. Build up my stats.
No, but here's my thing, dude. Like
I
think
will
about
say
this.
though, hold on, Nicco. I will say that my first playthrough of Doom 2016 never used a BFG shot. I hoarded those things because I didn't know when I was going to need them, and then I never used them.
Me neither. And also, well, and that was the other thing in Doom Eternal. I never used my Crucible because it's like not the chainsaw. Like I wanted the chainsaw seemed more powerful to me than a sword. So like, I wanted the chainsaw. Like I really wanted just the chainsaw from Doom 2016.
What?
That's really what I wanted, dude. That's what I wanted. But that's just because I naturally think a chainsaw would outpace a sword pretty much 100% of the time.
It's an energy sword that could power the earth for 8 months.
That doesn't matter here. It's a sword.
For our audio listeners, Trav is currently having a breakdown.
Yeah, it's a sword, dude.
I have a question that won't help that.
What's up, Chris?
So it's a lightsaber.
Does the chainsaw have like ammo in Doom 2016?
Yes, it has limits.
Yeah.
So does the sword, to be fair. But the sword insta-kills everything.
Right, but the chainsaw doesn't, and it should, because it's a chainsaw and not a sword. So anyway, I digress. This is not about that. Trav, we'll talk about this later.
Laser death sword.
Trav, let's take this offline. We'll
Let's
talk
write
about
this
this
down
one
for a
later.
future episode.
Put him up. I'm rolling up
Put a
the
pin.
sleeves.
Yeah,
look at how white my upper arms are.
Why
That is so
I oughta. We're spinning, dude. Trav and I.
I'm rolling up that
For our
DK
audio
neutral beat, buddy.
listeners, Trav and I both just popped a can of spinach, and we just are both like absolute.
We're force feeding each other.
We're absolute arm maxing right now for our audio listeners.
Look at my tiny muscles because estrogen has made them go away.
So estrogen is kind of like a limited game resource in that way.
In that way, I have to keep going to a place to get it, and they might tell me no one day.
Do you ever worry
So
about
when
weapon
resources
durability?
feel scarce,
I was just gonna let that one like marinate for a second because I thought it'd be funny. I thought it'd be funnier just to let it marinate. But anyway, dude, yeah, no, like so like in Balatro, right? Like Balatro, I didn't use my tarot cards until I got a sense. I didn't use any of my like consumables until I had a sense of how many of them would be available to me for the duration of the game.
Travis experiencing another meltdown for the audio listener.
So, well, here's the thing, right? Look, I'm a data analyst, you know, by trade.
Okay.
I've been trained to data analyze. And if I see that the rate of Trav, that was mean, Trav. You just for
I
audio
didn't think it
listeners,
would be that bright. I'm so sorry.
Trav just shined a laser pointer in my eye just
wasn't-
because he didn't
It wasn't
like
a
what I
laser
had
pointer.
to
It was
say.
a UV light.
I'm kidding.
Okay, so you're a data analyst, and Balatro has tarot cards.
What I was getting at was that if I am getting things at a good enough clip, then I will use them. But if I find that I'm not getting the items at the rate that I feel comfortable with, then I will not touch them.
That is insane to me because I just use the tarot cards immediately unless I have one actively sitting in my inventory, and then I will wait until I need it.
And the only times that I have tried to be free and just use the things they give me, I got skill checked, skill locked.
Well, that's your
which
problem.
is in prey. So like, you know, it's
So you're
just
saying
anytime,
even when you try, you get knocked back into submission, and you become kind of like, I guess I better save
the thing
this.
is, I get knocked into submission. Yeah, I get knocked into submission. I don't use the things, and then I don't have the things to use when I need them if I do use them. So I'd rather not use them. Yeah.
so game economies, just sort of in general, right, are intended to incentivize you to keep going. It's not supposed to be like the real world where you can just become infinitely wealthy and not need to aspire anymore, right? But by doing this, by having, you know, a scarcity of resources, we will start to make weird choices. We'll skip fights, we'll hoard items, and one of the things that gamers do is they will always try to find the most efficacious way to play. They will optimize fun out of their own experience because this is the right way to do it. Well, no, I'm not going to go do these 10 tiny quests that take 2 hours when I can just grind this rat. I'm going to just grind the rat, right?
Grind the rat.
It's not just
Grind the
about
rat.
having, you know, enough rupees or about having enough ammo or whatever. It's about how resource systems sort of shape our entire approach to the game world, right? So one of the biggest things that they do is game economies will trigger loss aversion, right? You become irrationally protective of these virtual resources, these things that you might never use and might never need. And I think that that's really hard to come over, you know, like, overcome. It's really difficult. It's tough because you look at it and you go, man, but what if I need that? And you like to think that the game would give you enough of whatever the thing is that you won't need to lose by using an item that you received, right? Like that's the thing. But there's more to it too. It's not just this. There's also people like completionists, right? If you're aiming to hit 100% on a game, you're going to not engage with resource mechanics because you need to conserve things, right? You need to conserve them in order to do some stupid thing, you know, whatever. But there's so much more, right? Like there's this sort of. So one of the things that we've seen in gaming recently is progression design, right? And it used to be that you had a very vertical progression system. So you would just get stronger, right? Your character would just get more levels and you would just get stronger. But what we've been seeing a lot more in modern games is horizontal progressions where instead you gain more options. The game doesn't get particularly more difficult. It doesn't, you know, you are just able to deal with things in a sideways lateral movement that gives you, you know, the ability to fly now, or the ability to sneak now, or the ability to do whatever. But you haven't actually gotten stronger as a character. This is something we do see in like a Zelda, or you see in a lot of Sims, or a lot of games really just want to give you more options. And one of the problems with that, of course, is that when you do that, now you have options. Oh, I can't use that one. That's a good option, like the sword. The Crucible is just another option, right? It's the same as a BFG. It's really the same as a chainsaw, nearly. The chainsaw's a little bit less than, right? Like, it's just another option there.
But verisimilitude, it breaks the verisimilitude for me. For the record, just breaks the verisimilitude for me for the chainsaw to be less powerful than
Irrelevant.
Just throwing that out there.
The fact is you have these multiple options that do the same thing. Right? They are tools that do the same thing that you can use in different ways against different kinds of enemies, right? You can choose to use a BFG in a room full of people. You can choose to use a Crucible on an Archvile. You can choose to use, right? You have these options, but because of that, you will tend to, I can't use that now. I need to make sure I save that for this very specific situation. And so by having these rare resources, we start to feel like we need to make choices that are very weird when you actually start to look at them.
Give me one example of a weird choice to illustrate this if I'm stupid. What's a weird choice you have had to make recently in a game?
Recently?
In a game. Okay, hold on.
I mean, I think
or
honestly,
in real life, I guess.
Honestly, like the I'm gonna not get into this fight is a great one. Right? Because you would think that you are incentivized to play the game. But no, I can't do that right now. I need to save my resources. I need to keep my ammo. I need to keep this weapon. I need to not engage in this because I know it's just a waste of my time. Maybe in a Cyberpunk, which is the game I've been playing most recently, there are a lot of options where I will just be like, I could do this thing, right? I could go all the way over there and do. Maybe I'm just going to choose the bad option in this quest because I know it's going to make me do a fetch quest afterwards. I'm just going to not do the fetch quest. That's not an option that you would normally make because you would care about the people and the things, right? And you would say, I don't want to do this bad thing.
I don't want.
But in Cyberpunk, no, I don't want to do that thing. That's 15 minutes to drive over there. That's stupid. I'm not doing that. Right? And it especially comes into, I think, a sharp relief with these sort of open world games like an Elden Ring or Horizon Forbidden West or Ghost of Tsushima, right? Where your resource economies change how you interact with the game and sometimes negatively.
I would say Elden Ring, the resource economy was good. They give you everything you need, and the things that you really need are renewable. But to your point, they gave you things that are not renewable that are like, oh, this thing gives you a really good stat buff. Really good. But they're limited per new game cycle.
One per customer.
So I never touched them. Never. And but the flip side of this coin is in Bloodborne, which you asked me a question recently, which is, why do I want to see a Bloodborne remaster? And so to answer that question, I've gone back to begin a new playthrough, and I realized the answer is I want infinite blood vials, because in Bloodborne, your blood vials, which for those who don't have a PlayStation is your Estus. And
what's an Estus?
For those who don't play Souls games, it is your heals, your healing.
It made less sense to me when you first explained it. I was like, oh, what?
Sorry. Yeah. In other Souls games, your healing is resets upon death. You have X number of them, and it resets when you die.
Okay.
In Bloodborne, it is a farmable, non-renewable. Well, it is renewable, farmable resource. It's not like it doesn't renew when you die. Like you have to go and pick these things up and farm the enemies for them. And I'll just spend the first probably 3 to 5 hours of every Bloodborne playthrough for me is farming blood vials, farming health, because I just don't want to worry about that, dude. It's not something that's been positive for me in the Souls experience, like having that be non-renewable renewable.
So in this case,
Um,
the in-game economy makes you torture yourself to bypass an issue.
Exactly. So it's the flip side of what Em is saying, that
Wow.
I like, it makes me like sit there and grind in a game where I wouldn't have to or wouldn't want to otherwise.
But I think that's just another example of how the resources in the game have forced you to make a choice that you otherwise wouldn't, right? You wouldn't have made that choice if you were just trying to do what's, quote, most fun.
Yeah. You know, and as a result, right, I have some pretty extreme thoughts on what an in-game economy should be.
You know what? Let's hear your extreme thoughts, Nicco.
My extreme thoughts are that, well, I was talking to one of you. Cover your ears, chat. I was talking to one of you guys. I don't know if it's one of you or one of the rest of the Crub boys, but like, I said something that was along the lines of like, yeah, I wish they just gave you infinite like resources, generally speaking, right? And somebody was like, well, yeah, but then like what? Maybe it was Justin. It was like, well, yeah, but then what would you strive toward in the game? And he was like, what would you use the infinite items for? And I was like, gameplay, dude, gameplay. So I think that I'll say this, right? I think that if your core gameplay loop is not good enough or not fun enough to be played, without the process of gathering items being a part of it, then your gameplay loop might just need a little bit of revision to make it more fun, because the core gameplay loop really should just be that like that.
Okay, so there are
First thing
plenty
you
of
think
games.
of, you know?
I think that this is a weird thought from you, but I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, I knew you'd say that.
I was just enjoying the jump of like, there should be infinite resources to, they need a little bit of revision.
Well, because if you have infinite resources and your game then becomes not fun, then that says that your gameplay loop is like not there.
Okay, but then maybe the gameplay loop is collecting resources.
That's a different type of game.
But by your definition, it would be
Different type
bad.
of game.
No,
No, but look, but like Minecraft. But look at Minecraft, where the gameplay loop is gathering resources.
No,
gameplay loop is
no. Minecraft's a bad example because there is a creative mode because people clearly don't want to do that, right? Like they want to build a big crazy pyramid in the desert.
Well, so then games where gathering items is the pretense.
What about Factorio? What
premise,
about
good example?
Oh,
Gosh.
Factorio mentioned. My girlfriend's popping off.
Satisfactory?
Yo.
What about Satisfactory? What about any of those type of games where it's all about solving a problem, right? There's a lot of games where the building of the economy is the game. What about City Skyline? What about The Sims? If you go into The Sims and just give yourself infinite money, what is the gameplay at that point? It's just house building. So you've taken away the gameplay part of it to make it into an architectural simulation, which is fine if that's all you want, right? But then if you go in and say, oh, well, I've rosebudded 55 times and there's nothing for me to do, the game is boring. It's like, okay, yes, but you took out the gameplay part of the game.
I think it's a different type of game. Yeah.
Clearly,
Different
it's
type
not
of
because
game.
it is the game that you are playing.
That game, the goal is to get
Elden
resources.
Ring,
That's
you
a different
explore,
thing.
you collect rocks to build
Elden Ring,
bigger
the goal
buckets.
is to hit. Elden Ring,
No,
the goal
the
is
goal
to
is
swing,
to level
bro.
up your juice, brother.
Swing,
Let me put this
bro.
to Nicco
R1.
with the game.
Like,
Nicco
yeah,
is
you can't if all you want to do is just hit the enemy, memorize enemy patterns, and just go in there, play freaking Punch Out, dude. That's a different
Armored
game.
Core.
Well, that's sort of
Armored
what I'm
Core, yeah.
saying, though, right? It's
Armored
like the
Core
core
7.
gameplay loop is good.
Let me put it
You
to
know?
Nicco with the game Nicco's played. Nicco, if I gave you a copy of Pokemon White and I modded it to where your Pokemon obeyed you no matter what level they are, and your starting team was level 100 and they were all 6, does that change the game, or have you just bypassed the game and made it not fun for yourself?
So there's a nuance here, which is that
now there's nuance.
there was always nuance.
For the audio listeners, Trev has walked
Trev-
away.
Has left. No. The nuance here is that they give you a level, and the level does not go away. You don't have to use that level to spend to acquire another thing, right? So, like, to M's point with The Sims, right? You get a bunch of money in this. You do whatever you have to do. You get a bunch. You earn your money, and then you build your houses, and you continue to earn more, right? And you get your job or whatever. The part of the engine, like, is the money. You have to spend it, and like, whereas with a Pokemon, the gameplay loop is fun enough that even if you are a level 100, when you get there, you don't have to spend it on anything. You still play the game. It's not like a consumable. It's definitely
a different way of describing taking the fun out of it and then getting to the end and not having fun anymore.
No.
Because if you cheated your way to 1 million simoleons, you can still spend the simoleons, but you still have more than you ever need for hours.
Samoa Joe.
Simoleon Jones.
Yo, Samoa Joe.
Well, I have noticed we have an input from our chat here about this topic, Nicco. Because I don't know if you know, but we do stream this every Tuesday at approximately 6:30 p.m., 7 p.m. Eastern is when we start at twitch.tv/crub_official. You can join us on Tuesdays there if you would like to see Trav die in real time. We have input from famous YouTuber The Golden Bolt, who says, wait, didn't Nicco want shit in every corner in Resident Evil 4? Like resources?
Yeah, because they didn't give you enough, or they could just give you infinite. Like, it doesn't matter.
Well, is the problem that you didn't have enough resources, or was the problem that you went into an area that you believed should have rewarded you with some kind of resource and there was nothing?
Yeah. That game had a different issue. Like, the issue was that they put a corner there acting like it should have a resource, and it didn't have a resource.
Maybe it's a corner of a room.
It was explicitly
like that.
A porch, I think, was the example.
Always.
Yeah, he walked onto a porch and there wasn't any reason to be on the porch.
No,
he walked to one side of the porch and the other and went,
and it
where's
let
the
you
ammo?
go left and right. Yeah, it like...
So you checked
there's material
there was
on
nothing
this.
there, and then you move on with your game.
There's material on youtube.com/@CRUBofficial about this.
I'll put it in the show notes. It'll link out. Don't worry.
Yeah,
People can review your side of the argument on that one.
Yeah.
It is, in fact, crazy.
It's not.
But thankfully, I think Nicco has come around on this one.
I have come around on it. Yeah. I realized
we're good.
There's been character growth.
I realized the so it's a long story, man. I did come around though. Well, I came around to understanding it, but I don't agree with it, if that makes sense. Like I understand it, and I understand why it's done, and I know that it has to be done.
Mm-hmm.
May I work emotionally into another plug that's relevant to what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Well, if you're a subscriber of ours, as in if you give us any money, you can join our Discord. You don't have to. Crub.org/join gets you in. But if you do, you can join us for our monthly book club, where we pick from a free game on a subscription service. We vote for it, play it, and get together and talk about it. Our most recent one, as of the time of recording, was Bioshock Infinite, famous 2012 video game from Ken Levine. And that is a game where there is a mechanic where you find a lockpick, and then you make your female companion open locks with it. And you have to scrounge around and find lockpicks. And I had both sides of the issue with this. I was playing on whatever normal difficulty is called in that game. And it's a game where you will scrounge around every corner, check every barrel, check every box, just in case there's something useful in it. And lockpicks are generally hidden in side rooms or under like staircases and stuff. So you're kind of just crawling around all over the place for these things. And for the first 2 or 3 hours, I had a lockpick to fit every lock. There weren't more lockpicks than locks, which led to a couple different situations where I was playing the game differently in a way I would say not very fun, but I didn't really process what the safes were giving me yet, so I thought it was still worth doing. So I was crawling around all these huge rooms looking for lockpicks. I spent 20 minutes trying to find one that I just kept overlooking. So I thought, okay, I guess this is what this game is. I need to literally like pixel hunt every room of every area in this game if I want the locks. And then it flipped past that to where the game just started like barfing them out at me. And you would pick up things of like, oh, here's 5 lockpicks in one. Here's 3 lockpicks in one. And I ended the game opening, I think, every safe in side room and still had like 27 lockpicks to spare. And it was a weird thing relevant to what we were talking about today, where I went from like, I hate this, there's not enough, I want more than I need, to I hate this, there's too many, why do I have more than I need? Why did I have to go through that first part to get to the second part? Is this intentional? Someone hold me?
Yeah, okay.
Is it
yeah.
comparable to the lockpicking in Oblivion?
No.
That was a joke, for the record. Sorry.
Yes, it
Don't
is.
think about that too hard.
That sounds.
Was that
like
anyone else's
torture?
experience with that game? Am I dumb?
I don't remember the distribution well enough, to be honest with you.
I played it like
That
10
came a
years ago.
long
I
time
don't
ago.
remember.
Yeah.
Moriarty?
But I do remember
No,
scrounging for
I'm
items.
with you. I'm with you. I think that, that is certainly something where they wanted to make it so that if you missed something, it wasn't a negative, but if you searched for something, it was a positive. And I don't know that they super got it, but I know that that's what the attempt was, right?
Mm.
So I'll tell you what I really don't like about the lockpick scenario.
Mhm.
And perhaps you guys can engineer a fix as gamers.
Okay.
Which is that I don't like when they give you 1 lockpick and 2 locks and you can't see what's behind the locks. I think
You hate making choices?
no, bro, that's not a choice. That's a gamble.
It is a
I'm like,
gamble, but
Yeah,
You hate
I'm like,
gambling?
I
You play
usually
Balatro.
Google Google what's behind like each thing to be like,
Yeah, sure.
what
Like
am I-
if you
what am
want
I
the best thing, but like,
'Cause, like-
I for one enjoy being like, oh well, this is what I got. Just gonna move on with it.
there does
here's
seem the thing is though is that I think Nicco is proving the fact that he will make weird choices because of the lack of resources. He doesn't have enough lockpicks, so he's going to go and take time out of his game. He's going to stop playing to go Google to find out what is the most optimized choice.
Yeah.
And he's going to do that because rather than having fun, right, the game has forced him in his Niccoisms to have this weird interaction with the game that if you looked at it from just a purely logical, I'm trying to have the most fun, that is not the way to have fun, right? You're
For
not
you.
having fun
For you.
there.
This does sound
Well,
like the
no.
guy in the bus meme where one's looking at the sad wall and one's looking at the sunshine. Trav's looking at the sunshine and Nico's like, now I gotta open up a new freaking
I am
tab.
a very glass half full kind of person, and that glass is full of milk.
Because I will say, listening to Nicco, I was like, yeah, I'd probably drop a save file right before that and just reload the save and see what was in both. But I was listening to Trav, I was like, that sounds like an easier life to live, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, just like
you
deal with the
you go with it.
consequences and move on.
Once I discovered that trick in games that let you do that, I stopped Googling things and started doing that. But I didn't realize that was an option because I was like, no, I'm going to play this in... Oh, you guys are going to laugh. I was like, I'm going to play this in the spirit of the game. Like when I was like younger, I was like, or before I knew about save scumming, which I found save scumming recently. I was like, oh yeah, the game wants me to save. So I'll save as like a mechanism to save and then like leave the game. I like didn't use saving as a resource to like go back and do things until I played Hitman 3.
Understandable. I don't think it's like a natural thought to see that and be like, well, how can I abuse this?
Yeah, and for those that don't know, Hitman 3 came out in 2020, I believe.
I was just going to not acknowledge that fact for you, but yeah.
It's okay. It's just that I didn't discover it until recently, right? Like
I'll go lower than that to take the heat off of you because we have kind of just been like kicking you while you're down and it's very fun.
that's
When I was
fine.
like-
this is like a yeah.
When I was like 5 playing Pokemon Red, I was walking around. I explicitly remember being in a car on my Game Boy, like, wow, the menu says save. What does that mean? And I hit save and it said, Chris, save the game. And somehow on my 5-year-old brain, I was like, I just beat it? I just saved the game?
That's like I used to do something similar when I was really young because I saw video games as a challenge to be overcome, which is still how I look at it. But it was always like, if I made it to the credits of the game, I beat it, I'm done with it. Like it was credits, it's done.
Hmm.
And then I did a thing where, oh man, what game was it? It was like
Donkey Kong 87. It's kind of crazy.
yeah, I mean that one kind of screwed me up because I didn't get like, what do you mean? Like people love this game and it's already over. What's happening? Like fake out endings and stuff like that would always get me as a kid because I'm like, what do you mean there's more game past it?
Fake out endings are great. I like a fake out ending.
Yeah, dude, I would have never like finished Control if that were the case.
Crazy. Actually, sorry, I need to interject really quickly. So I know we usually don't acknowledge chat, but we have done it already, and this is actually a salient point. Chimbus says Nico's Googling the exact stats of Pokemon legendaries to not accidentally kill them instead of just saving before the battle. Chimbus, do you really think I looked up the stats of the legendaries only?
It sure sounds like you would have.
Don't say only.
Do you think I only did that?
Wait,
I looked up.
Oh, no.
I looked up every Pokemon that every gym leader had and would train a new team every single time
Christ.
because I didn't know how to play the game. Like
It's
no one
one
told me
book.
that like you didn't have to have optimal against
Just
everything.
read. Just
Like-
die and learn.
No,
Just,
no one told.
like,
no one
This
told.
might
die
be a bigger
against
issue
the
than
gym
game economy
leader
for
and
Nico.
go, oh, that's the
Nobody
team
told
they
me.
have. I better composition my team different.
Yeah, nobody told me. That you could-
It's not something you get told. It's
Well,
something
no, once
you
somebody
learn,
told
brother.
me, once somebody told me that you could just have one team of Pokemon, I just did that.
But-
and just made them big.
And just made them
big. I guess that's salient to Moriarty's earlier point, and that gamers will just go down the path of I will optimize this and ignore any other path along the way. In some
Right, like,
cases,
Just
a question
live your
of-
life, man.
It's a question of like engagement versus optimization, right? Players like Nicco is showing, players will try to solve the game economy rather than just enjoying the experience because they are trying to win and they want to win at every single part, every single stage. I always want to win, always want to be the best, got to be the best, got to do the thing, right? And so you create this sort of, by having any sort of system in the game that encourages this, and it's hard, you can't not have that, right? Like I accept that this is a thing that's always going to be there forever, but you know, you're going to incentivize your player to not play the game. I just think that's a very weird thing to have happen.
I'll tell you this, and I think this is really important context for people who don't know that I know this about myself.
you hate video games.
I'm not very good at video games. Look, I'm not a very competitive person.
Damn,
I
that's
practice-
crazy.
I practice a lot of other things in my life. The things and ever since I've been practicing video games, I've been getting a lot better, and I've been doing less and less of this like Nicco stuff. But when you're just getting into it and you're not very good, you have to do whatever you can to not sit for hours at any one part of a game. You know what I mean? It really truly like it is a skill issue. Like for all of the people, I hear you. Everyone who is like, that's a bad take. That's a
All the
bad take.
people in the
It is a
streets, it's like, why is this
skill-
guy talking about his weird shit?
Yeah, it's a skill
I'll even
issue,
hop
dude.
on you here, Nicco.
Yeah.
I think that's a great point, and I think that's the plight of the common person whose life isn't video games like it is for most of us. The
Yeah.
people who are like, I have a kid, I have a loving partner that wants my time. I got to go to an HOA meeting. I got 2 hours with this 150-hour video game that might take me all year to beat. I just want to see more of it than not.
Yep. That's exactly how I feel, and that's why I always
They're all
advocate
wrong,
for
and they should
everything.
drop all that shit and play more video games. But
So you're saying that I'm just not being considerate to the working class?
correct.
No, I'm just saying that like people like
No. I was
Yeah.
trying to be an asshole.
right. No, Trav, sorry, I pulled the Justin and I did not yes and you on that. That was my fault.
Dude, I hate Justin.
Man. Yeah, he simply doesn't yes and enough. Just like that. I was showing the people what he does. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, I advocate the common man, the person who would rather see more of the only game they bought that year.
Did you know?
Yeah. Because I'm
just
not good at them.
Sorry.
It's an interesting two-way thing for you, though, because there's that. Very valid. And then there's I'm going to spend 3 to 5 hours at the start of Bloodborne so that I don't have an issue maybe later.
Well, that's my favorite game, dude. It's my favorite game.
Trav, how many hours do you spend at the start of your Bloodborne replays getting blood vial?
I've never played it.
Oh.
What if I need them, Trav?
What if Nicco needs them, Trav?
The answer there would be if you need them, then you go get them, right? Like that's kind
Right,
of
so I
the
go
answer
get
that
them.
you just play the game and you go, okay, well, you know.
Yeah, you get to a point where you don't need them, or you still need them, and then you get them when you need.
The point
Which
being
I understand.
that they should be infinite like they are in every other Souls game, but they're not.
I hate Demon Souls. All you do is eat grass.
Oh, yeah, they're not. Well, that has the same issue. That game has the same problem.
But so many things
You know.
give you grass to heal yourself.
That didn't stop me from grinding for like a couple hours to get a bunch of them,
Brother.
dude.
This is like a repeat issue. Interesting.
Yeah, no,
It does. Yeah.
It's any
So-
game with a resource, I'll grind for it.
The
Like if you
thing-
have a resource and it's useful, I'll grind for it.
Okay, but the thing is, right? Let's say that in your Bloodborne thing, we made it infinite, right? Would you not agree that that is changing the way that you engage with the game?
For the better.
For personally, you personally see that, sure, but you understand what I'm saying, right? Like, you've now taken. Would you be riskier? Would you experiment more, or would you just continue to bang your head against the wall because now you don't have to go and leave and recharge your stuff, right? Like, there's certainly a reason to, you know, there's a role of abundance. There's a reason why a game might create intentional resource abundance, right? And that is experimentation and risk taking. But would you be any riskier? Would you do any experimentation? Or would you just keep playing the game the exact same way? And in that case, in a Bloodborne, I think that in order to engage you and take you out of banging your head against the wall for 6 hours straight, it is saying, okay, you banged your head for an hour, now get out of that, go out and relax a bit and fight some dogs, you know?
I see what you're saying, but I'll tell you this. I went into this playthrough of the game specifically doing something different than I've done in the past. I chose a different starting weapon, a different type of class. I've never done a skill build in Bloodborne before. And I am really, really struggling with it. It's in Bloodborne, the weapons are so fast that you really don't need a skill build to be successful. You can just use a strength build and like be good. Or a quality build, if you will. That's actually probably the best early option. You know, I am actively trying something different, and I feel I'm being punished for it. Because I have to now go out and do the thing because I'm doing a different play style, so I have to practice it with experience that I don't have before. And had I had infinite resources, it would just save me a lot of time and headache, personally.
I think this sort of highlights how there are different player personalities, right? Because you have your explorer and your achiever and your socializer, right? And I know there's others out there in the like categorization of players. There's killers, right? So these sort of player personalities are going to interact differently with in-game economies in general. But I don't know that any game has ever planned for a Nicco personality, and I don't know.
Yeah, they have
that
Sekiro, dude.
You hated Sekiro when you first played it.
Well, yeah,
Oh no,
because
am I
it
thinking
didn't.
of Elden Ring? My bad.
No, I can tell you exactly why I hated Sekiro when I first played it, and it was because it wasn't Bloodborne. But then I realized it's actually like.
Well, be more
kind of-
specific. Not trying to egg you on. Like genuinely, I want to know. Like what specifically was it, other than not Bloodborne?
It has a
Like,
lot
was
of advantages, I think. Like, don't get me wrong, Bloodborne is still my favorite.
No, I'm
For
like trying to ask
sentimental
what was it about
reasons?
Sekiro? Was it like the
But-
weapons are too slow?
Sekiro has a parry that is also a block.
Oh, okay.
But it's not slow. It's not slow. it's not your first Dark Souls where like you're blocking and you're slowly moving around a thing. It's king, bing, 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 bing. Hit. Now it's your turn, right? It's fast. It's not slow. So it does have a block, whereas, you know, Bloodborne has the shield that like makes fun of blocking, right? Because you're not supposed to do that in that game. Fair. But this gives you a fast block option that's really not useful if you're just holding it to block. It's only useful as a parry, but if you do hold it to block, you're then not like so punished for it. It really is about rhythm and timing, and so is Bloodborne to a certain degree. But Bloodborne has that element of resource management that I think doesn't really suit Souls games, personally.
So you didn't like Sekiro because of the blocking?
No, I love Sekiro now because of the blocking. Back then, I was hitting circle and spamming R1, and that's not how you play Sekiro. That's how you play Bloodborne. In Bloodborne, you hit circle R1, circle R1. In Sekiro, you hit L1, 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 R1, R2. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm not sure if that goes for Trav's hypothesis or not, but we'll take that in for the council and evaluate it.
I mean, I'm just listening. I just wanted Nico's opinion on that. That was not for me to judge if he was right or wrong.
Really?
I was judging. Don't worry.
I'm glad.
Let me try and boil this down.
No, we got to boil it down. Don't worry. We've made our judgment of you. We've typed in the comments what we think of you.
It's the same type of game, and the controls are just similar enough that you're familiar with it, but they're not similar enough that you don't make more mistakes when you move from one to the other. Like, if you go from Bloodborne to Sekiro or vice versa, because the controls are similar but not the same, it is incredibly difficult to get back into like the muscle memory and the habit, because you only change it slightly, and the buttons that you have to hit are then detrimental to you in the other game.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
I think that by adding in additional, or I guess infinite or abundant resources, because right, like nobody would say that the ammo in Doom Eternal is unlimited, but it is quite abundant. You can get plenty of ammo at any given moment, right?
I was out of ammo all the time in that game, yeah. Pretty consistently. At least on the guns I wanted to use.
If only they just given you an infinite amount, you know, or if you could grind it at the start.
Okay. Anyways, so by having such an abundant amount of ammo on every weapon, right, you are encouraging actively, you're rewarding aggressive play, right, rather than rewarding resource management. You're rewarding somebody going out and just doing the thing. So players not needing to agonize over every decision, right? It allows them to have these sort of creative approaches, take risks, go ahead and die, lose that fight, because you have more resources than you need, right? Which tells the user, the player, hey, it is okay to use powerful items, right? Like that's the message that you get out of that. And I think that is good for a game where you're looking for something like flow state, right? Where you're trying to get into the game flow and just kind of move and stuff like that. A Doom Eternal, again, is a pretty good example of this because it's very much a flow state game. Without like the constant interruptions to manage inventory or farm materials.
Oh, but you got to think about what... Never mind.
No, go ahead. We're a safe space for our viewers here.
It's just a lot of thinking in Doom Eternal, where it's like this gun for this enemy, and then there's like too many of them to remember, like easily.
There's 7.
Yeah, too many. It's too many gun enemy combos. I'm like, I need one weapon that works right. Like, I need one tool that does all the job.
One weapon that works.
Yeah, I'm like, give me one that does the job,
BFG.
dude. Yeah, I just want one or two that do the job. I like don't need 8 or 9.
Okay, so you really just want Doom 2016, where you can super shotgun through the whole game.
Yes.
Insane.
And chainsaw.
Which is actually
chainsaw.
more limited in Doom 2016 than
More
it is in Doom
limited.
Eternal.
But more powerful.
That's what the Crucible is for.
Yeah, but once again, it's a sword. Never mind.
But it's a sword.
It's a sword,
and
Trav, you
swords
see.
are-
It's not a chainsaw. It's not what I want to use.
Right, because swords are implicitly less powerful.
Implicitly less powerful than a
Razor
chainsaw.
sword, it glows red. You pull it out of molten goo, and it goes by the power of Grayskull. You know?
Right, but it is
Trav,
less powerful than a chainsaw.
Yeah, if I
'cause
took a
is
chainsaw
moving.
back to medieval times, Trav, do you think that any of those knights would stand a chance?
It's not a medieval sword. It's from space, brother. It's made from laser.
But it's a sword, Trav.
Ah!
I didn't play Doom Eternal. Were there medieval knights in that game? Where'd that
No,
come from?
I'm kidding. I'm just
they're like
pissing Trav
space
off.
future medieval knights.
Yeah, I'm just pissing Trav off. I'm just saying that I
If
want
you
Nicco.
lightsaber a chainsaw, the teeth are gonna go beep, 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 and they
No,
all
I'm
fall
just
off.
saying.
By
I'd like to.
definition,
No more
Trav-
monkeys jumping
Trav-
on the bed.
Trav, by definition, according to Nicco, the chainsaw would beat the lightsaber.
Yeah, it's
You
kind of
just
true.
cut through it.
Darth Vader's cooked, brother.
Think about it.
Darth
mean, a
Vader
chainsaw-
versus Ash from
Just-
Evil Dead. He wins,
Just think
brother.
about it.
Yeah.
This is my boomstick.
Well, if Darth Vader couldn't use the Force, bro,
You know,
That
Yeah.
sucks. That gets 5 big booms.
I may
Boom.
have committed to this bit a little too much, but
I'm having fun with it.
I'm also having fun with it.
Sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's the answer on engagement versus optimization, right? Like we've got the spreadsheet problem of players trying to solve the economy. We've got the perception versus reality problems.
I think the
Where
answer
players
is really make your gameplay loop fun for what it is. If your gameplay loop is meant to be gathering resources, then by all means gather resources. But
Sure.
I think my
you need a
main
lesson in what is fun.
my main guideline is keep everything as convenient as possible and don't be inconvenient.
I think the
No,
answer
I
you
get
came
it.
to is buy a drink
Yeah.
for any game designer you find at a bar because they have an impossible job.
They have an I mean,
They don't
think
have
about
an
it.
impossible
You have
job.
to-
They can make Balatro or Sekiro.
yeah, or both at the same time.
What I said.
Sekiro.
Every game should be Balatro or Nubby's Number Factory. All right.
Yep.
Yeah, Balatro, Sekiro. No, I'm just kidding, fellas. I like a lot of games. But
I think
Every
I think
game.
that Nico's idea of solution through design is not wrong. You can create resource systems where the most fun way to play is also the most rewarding economically, so that you are aligning player incentives with enjoyment.
Balatro.
But I still think that the path of least resistance is true. Players are always going to optimize as best they can, and they're going to play as best they can, and they're going to gravitate towards the most efficient methods, even when those methods are boring or repetitive. So it's the type of thing where a game developer needs to take that into account. They need to understand that if you are adding in something that kills the bad guy in a single hit, but takes an hour of farming pickles to do that, people gonna be farming pickles for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. And if that's not the gameplay loop that you want, then don't do that. Because players will focus very heavily on maximizing their resource efficiency. And they may burn out, and that is a potential problem, right? Is that you go, well, I just have to keep farming pickles, and this isn't a fun game.
All of this
Yeah.
boils down to a problem with American individualism.
Play the game
You know,
the way
actually,
you're meant
Trav,
to.
you might have hit something there. You might be onto something because it's not American individualism; it's only childhood.
What?
It's being an only child.
Do we have a? Oh, okay.
Speaking of
Patreon question?
cutting medieval knights through with a chainsaw, our subscriber question of the week, which you can submit if you give us at least $2 a month on patreon.com/crub, or if you give us more, there's a lot of content for you to check out, like extra audio, spoiler casts, video products. But the question's simple. Let's be honest. It's all worth it. You should check it out. Give it a trial run there. The question is simple. I'm scrolling up. It's really simple. From Chef Kilo. Could the Crub crew beat one gorilla I may
good.
add
This
a
is
modifier
relevant.
here. Would we
Holy
beat the
moly.
gorilla, or would we grind for 15 hours to get the weapon that makes beating the gorilla a little more possible?
No, you guys can use my bones. You guys can just kill me and use my bones against it. That's the way to go.
I
You
think
sharpen my
I'd be
femurs.
able to. I think I'd be able to intimidate the gorilla. I'm large enough.
Let me White Guy podcast here real quick. How tall is gorilla? 4.4 feet? Oh, that's not bad.
Well, they're also hunched over.
How tall is a silverback?
Google AI tells me it's 4.4 feet. Auto result.
Oh, okay. I mean, did you ask
Yeah.
ChatGPT? Don't do that.
Yeah, well, here's the thing, right? AI legally has to be correct in everything it says, of course.
Let me go to the next credible resource,
That's not
Wikipedia.
true.
There's
That's
a
not true,
troglodyte gorilla.
People
I
thought I was
think.
serious with that.
Okay,
No.
look. 8 human beings, 1 gorilla.
I think the minimum's 10.
No. The question is context. Do we have weapons? Because that changes things, right? Like weapons and that allows for tactics. Tactics allows for beating animal, right? But if it's literally just like me and Trav and Nicco standing there and a gorilla is charging us in the forest, I'm gonna accept that I'm not beating this gorilla. No matter how many of their, like, I'm not gonna do it. They can rip you apart. They can literally rip a man in half.
That'd
No,
be kind of fun.
I will say I am the least likely to even engage.
Okay,
With
so it's
it,
kind of 7 of us. Nico would watch.
I'm.
Okay, so Nicco would watch. He would watch us die.
No, I was
He
saying
would
that if you wanted
celebrate
to
our
kill
deaths.
me, I would sacrifice myself for the cause, so you can sharpen my femurs into.
no,
into
we get what you're
tools.
saying.
In the middle of a battle with a gorilla, we're sitting there removing bones from your body.
So hold on 1 second, guy. We're getting ready here. Now, Nico would be up in a tree
Sharpening
watching.
them.
He'd watch us get
I don't
mercilessly ripped to shreds, and then he'd wander the streets of like Los Angeles or whatever you do on weekends. Be like, could I have done more? Should I have done more?
Yeah, that's almost certainly how it would happen.
Could I
Like,
at least
for
have
real?
saved Justin?
Should I have saved Justin?
Should I have saved
Would be-
Justin?
Yeah.
I think the question's not exclusionary in a sense that it's not like you can't not bring a weapon. Probably not in the spirit of the question, right?
I think not in the spirit of it. If I have weapon though, it changes the thing quite drastically. I think because
Sword?
weapon is how you defeat gorilla.
Chainsaw.
Yeah.
I hear the chainsaw is pretty
A
useful.
chainsaw, dude. Yeah. I mean, in this case, I think a sword might be just enough to defeat a gorilla, but a chainsaw would be better.
You're probably not getting out unscathed with the sword. Like you might.
That's what I'm saying. With the chainsaw, you might get out unscathed.
Wow.
Or it pushes the chainsaw into you and you kill yourself with the chainsaw.
Ooh, and
How
then the
could it
gorilla
do
has
that
a
if you have it
chainsaw.
pointing?
Then the gorilla has a chainsaw. Yeah.
Bro,
And then
if I
that's-
have the chainsaw pointing outward with the danger end facing the gorilla, how would it turn it back on me without getting
it would
the
accept
business
some
end?
small danger in order to grab your weak human arms or grab you by the head and fling you around like a small baby.
Yeah, not if I have the chainsaw out in front of me.
Like you ever disarm someone in Assassin's Creed 2 and take their weapon? It would just do that to you. And then you start a new evolutionary branch of a gorilla who learned how to use a chainsaw and started manufacturing.
I do like the idea
manufacturing, yeah.
of the gorilla, of a gorilla that knows how to use like a dragon sweep to get in on me when I'm holding the chainsaw out that far.
Right, but I mean, all it needs to do is just not get hit by the very front of it and come around the side of you even a little bit. And then what are you going to do? Smack it in the side? No, it's going to be already crushing your tiny, fragile little skull.
Yeah, bro, I'm not gonna lie to you. There's no world in which I defeat this gorilla even with a chainsaw. Like I think I know that. I know that about
What a
myself.
Nicco thinks he can kill a gorilla.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Well, I do think that I think that Harambe could have survived. I think
Now
they
we're
could have
calling
just-
out a specific gorilla. You think you could have survived? What? Sorry. What?
They could have. Yeah. They Harambe miss him.
I think Harambe's
Anyway.
biggest issue was not like Super Saiyan grabbing the bullet.
Yeah.
with like instant
Harambe's
reflexes
issue-
and then just like flicking it back. I think that would have done a
Yeah,
lot for him.
Right. Harambe could have used the Matrix to his advantage. He also
How long ago was Harambe?
Probably like 10 years at this point. It's pretty relevant.
My lord.
almost, yeah, it'd be about 9 years.
Probably
but,
about ready for a Hollywood adaptation at this point.
Yeah, I don't know why they don't have one, dude. They should
I
film
can
it
think
at
of a few
on
reasons.
the
What?
magnet. They should film it at ILM.
The kid's over it by now. Just make a movie.
Yeah. Harambe's biggest issue was attacking one person and not 100. Because if he attacked 100, it'd be a scenario. Whereas if he
It
attacks
would be
one,
a scenario.
Harambe's
I'm
biggest
kidding.
issue was not creating a scenario.
Harambe's biggest issue was not creating like an ethical quandary in the same way.
You really should have, created a scenario.
If only
Right,
Harambe
create a
had held the
scenario,
mirror back
attacked
to
100
us.
people.
Kilo, thank you for the question. We cannot kill a gorilla, but we
No
can
way.
kill Harambe.
Yeah, none of us.
Thank you
There's
for
no
listening.
way.
We'll be back
Wow.
next week for more of this. Thank you.